Hello students. In the last session we had discussed about data types. We'll move further in the chapter and we'll discuss about variable declaration now. Naming a variable along with its data type is known as variable or identifier declaration. The variable or identifier is a user-defined word except a keyword. What is the syntax? First we write the data type, then we give the variable name followed by a semicolon. For example, if we have to declare three integer variables a, b and c, we will simply write int space a comma b comma c and a semicolon. To declare a character type variable, we have to write char space ch. To declare two floating point numbers, we have to declare it like float space sum comma average. Now comes variable initialization. Providing a value to a variable is known as variable initialization. The assignment operator equal to is used for this purpose. We can also enter values from the input device keyboard and assign it to a variable. This is done using the Bufferedreader class or the scanner class. First is to input values using Bufferedreader. We use the following statements. First, we have to import the IO package using the statement import java.io.asterisk. Then in the main section, we have to write input stream reader. Then we have to declare an object of it. I have declared it as in here equals to new input stream reader system.in. And then buffered reader, an object of buffered reader br equals to new buffered reader, and in brackets we have to write the object of input stream reader. After this we have to declare a variable num of integer type and integer.parseInt, and in brackets we have to write br.readline. The above statement is used to input an integer from the keyboard and initialize it to the variable num. The keyword parse converts string input to primitive data types, as Java takes input in the form of strings. So it must be converted into numeric using parseInt, parsefloat, parsedouble, etc. into integer, float and double types respectively. I hope you have understood what is the purpose of parse function. Second method is to input values using the scanner class. We have to import java.util package. So the statement is import java.util.asterisk. Then we have to declare a scanner class object. I have declared sc here. Scanner sc equals to new scanner system.in. Then we have declared two variables, integer a and float d. Now the next int and next float functions receive integer and float values from the user and store it in integer and float variables respectively. So how do we do it here? A equals to scanner class object dot next int, d equals to scanner class object dot next float. Next is the final keyword. It is used to convert the variable into a constant whose value cannot be changed during the program. See the syntax here. Final, then the data type, then the variable name equals to actual value. Look at the example. There are two variables x and y which have been declared here. X is a normal variable which has been initialized with the value 10 and y has been declared as final with the value y. If I try to change the values of x and y by adding 7 to them, x value will be changed to 17 but y original value will be retained because y is a final value. It will always remain 20 during the program. It can never be changed. This is the meaning of keeping the keyword final in front of a variable name. Next topic is typecasting. To convert one predefined data type to another is called type conversion or typecasting. Now there are two types of typecasting, implicit typecasting and explicit typecasting. When the conversion of one data type to another is done automatically by the compiler without user intervention on the basis of largest data type, it is known as implicit typecasting. For example, now look at this example. There are four variables declared here: integer x, float d, double m and f. Here the final result will be stored in f, and automatically all the variables x, d and m will be typecasted to double type to give double result. Next is explicit typecasting. The conversion of one data type to another with the help of user intervention is called explicit typecasting. For example, if we have declared a double type variable m with a value 236.78 and in the next line we are trying to typecast it into an integer type, then we need to explicitly write int in front of m. You can look in the example here. Now we'll be discussing certain mathematical functions. A big table is given in your book. You have to learn all those functions along with the purpose, their return type and their syntaxes as well as examples. The first function is absolute function. This function returns the absolute value of numeric data ignoring its sign, plus or minus. For example, math.absolute, in the brackets we have written minus 73. The output will be plus 73, only 73. And if we simply write math.absolute 73, the output will again be 73. So absolute function ignores the sign, it just writes the numeric value. Clear? Next is square root function. This function returns the square root of a positive number. It returns a double value. Math.square root 81. Output will be 9.0. The output will be in decimal. See, it will not be an integer, it will be in decimal. So it returns a double value. Next is power function. It is used to find the power of numeric data. For example, math.power 3, 2 will give 9.0 as the output. Next comes the round function. This function rounds the integer to the closest integer value. Next is the max function. It returns the largest from two arguments. Next is the minimum function. It returns the smallest from the two arguments. Next is the random function. It returns double type value and is used to generate random numbers between 0.0 and 1.0. You can look here in the example. If you write double, then a variable name x equals to math.random. Output will be any random double value from 0.0 and 1.0. It's giving here 0.7134361215296077. Next comes the ceil function. See, you have to understand very nicely the difference between ceil and floor. When ceil is given with an integer value like 15.3, it returns the next integer, that is 16.0. Whereas if you give the same value with the function floor, it returns the previous integer. I hope the difference between ceil and floor is clear. Next is the cube root function. It returns the cube root of the arguments. Example, math.cuberoot 125 will return 5.0. These are a few functions which I have written over here. The rest you can learn from book. The other are trigonometric functions like sine, cos, tan, etc. Please learn them from the book. So for today's assignment, you have to learn the table of operators, which is given on page number 43. You have to learn the precedence of operators, the various types of expressions, and the mathematical functions along with their name, purpose, syntax with examples. That's all in today's video. I hope you will revise the video and go through the text, and any problems we'll be discussing them tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock. Thank you, children.